Good morning, happy Tuesday, boys and girls. Hope you're all doing okay. So, this is your English activity for today. Your learning target to use colons correctly in a list. Now, a colon looks like this here. It doesn't have a circle around the outside, but instead it's a full stop with another full stop directly above it. It's a really useful bit of punctuation to have in your grammar arsenal, I suppose, and it's one which in year 5 we want to start you guys learning how to use correctly. Now there's quite a few ways, there's 4 down there which you can see on your screen how you use them. Number 1, to introduce a list, to separate 2 independent clauses when the second explains the first, to introduce a quotation, and to emphasize a single word. We're going to return to colons in a couple of weeks, but for the time being, we're just going to focus on using a colon to introduce a list, which is the number 1 activity here. Some of you might be able to do a little bit more. That's fine. Let's just get the basics done first of all. How to use a colon in introducing a list. Now then, the activity today looks like this. You've got 5 different sentences there. Okay, now I'm going to read the first one out to you. I want 3 teas, 2 coffees and toast. Now that particular sentence isn't grammatically correct on its own. What you need is to put a colon plus also commas into that sentence as well, as this is a sentence which introduces a list. Okay, now we spoke to you in school before about this thing called the rule of 3. Typically adjectives, when you have 3 adjectives describing something. The comma would need to go between the first 2 adjectives that describe whatever it is, whatever noun it is you're describing. And you would need to put the colon before the very first adjective. So the colon would go on the end of the last word, which is the word before the first adjective. So if you look at the first screen there, I want 3 teas, 2 coffees and toast. I want 3 teas, 2 coffees and toast. Let me read that slightly differently. I want 3 teas, 2 coffees and toast. Can you see how my voice changes? I want, slight pause there, 3 teas, 2 coffees and toast. Now because there was a slight pause, I was like getting myself ready to say a list. So the colon would need to go at the very end of want. And then you have 3 teas, 2 coffees and toast. So it's a list basically. They're not adjectives this time, they're nouns, but there are 3 things which you're trying to separate grammatically. So to punctuate this sentence correctly, you would need to put a colon after I want, and then a comma after 3 teas, 2 coffees and toast. You don't need a comma there because the and acts as that punctuation to separate out the last 2 items. Okay, so hope that makes sense. Work your way through 2, 3, 4 and 5, and as an optional extra, write 3 sentences of your own that contains a list of items, colons and commas in the correct places. What you might want to do is write some things about the Little Shop of Horrors. Your favourite characters, who you felt sorry for, what happens in your favourite scene, something. That would be amazing if you can do that, really to show that you're beginning to understand how to use colons correctly in a list, plus also that you're starting to understand the Little Shop of Horrors. Best of luck with this one. Your learning target today to use colons correctly in a list. Best of luck.